Alright, well, I was gonna record some other videos, do some other stuff, but life's gotten away, start a new job and everything. So instead I'm going to talk about something I've been watching, for a few months now. Season's not over, but the current story arc's over, so I guess I can talk about it. I really enjoyed it. Normally I'm a little bit more structured. I may not sound like it, but I normally have notes and everything to work with. I'm not really going off that to this time, just going off the top of my head. And before anyone starts talking about, I'm not going to start making anime videos all the time. I mean, if I'm watching it and it comes out, I might talk about the movie as well later on. And if the next story arc's good, I'll talk about that one. I've also read the manga as well. I basically stopped after this story arc, so I don't really know what's going into the future, but I have read it, so I did go into it, already know what was going to happen, but it still didn't mean it didn't hit just as hard. This is a little bit of a darker story arc. A lot of they don't always show, they do show some stuff on screen, but they don't always show as much on screen. A lot of it is stuff you have to just realize is happening off screen. And not only that, some of it is a little bit more, typically when someone says like adult horror or something like that, you can start to think, oh, maybe like adult movie kind of thing, but no. And then when you're an adult, your biggest nightmare might be everybody you know dies and nobody likes you anymore, and you end up just failing through life, and you become an old person living in a retirement home and nobody ever cares to come visit you. No one shows about your funeral. That might be more of an adult horror kind of thing. So this show definitely had some real physical stuff that was like scary, but it also had some stuff in there where you're like, man, I just feel terrible. I just feel upset just watching that. Just, what if I was in that position? That just happened to me. I just hate it so much. So this definitely had some of that in there. Had some good fight scenes. Music was music was really good in this season. And they didn't play they put some stuff in there, but they didn't play, like, that's one of the reasons why I always go back to watching the end of season 1, just so you can hear, All Might versus Nomu and them playing You Say Run and everything just working perfectly. They played different music, different ways. I mean, Overhaul's theme is very good. Overhaul's the bad guy of the story arc. I didn't make that clear. I haven't even really said what the story arc is called, which is, I guess, Overhaul arc or the Shy. I'm not gonna. I almost just butchered the name right there. Mafia. I don't know. There's a few names you could give it, but I think Overhaul arc pretty much makes sense. He's a big bad guy, and it's all what he's up to. But there's a lot to say about this story arc, but I'll just keep moving on. Music was good. Visuals were good. I did hear a little bit of complaints online. I might talk about that later. I might not. It personally didn't bother me. That's all you really need to know about that. I thought the visuals were great, really. This story arc just had, like, they introduced new characters, and I was pretty much with them from day one, first moment. I read them, the book, saw their art, like, even before when it was first being written, coming out, and it was only in Japanese, and people were leaking little images. I was already on board with these characters as soon as I was getting to hear some stuff about them. So I have a lot I could say about them. I wasn't planning on making a long video about this, but I might end up doing that. And then let's see. Those are pretty much, I guess, the main things I normally talk about. General story structure is a little bit weaker this story arc versus the ones in the past. Like, it had like a long build-up. I think it was very necessary, and you definitely feel it. I think it's all good. Like, in order for that ending part to be so good and all that, you need all that context, you need all that building. And not only that, this episode really expanded the world of my heroes. Like, every season, the world gets wider and wider, and we learn more and more stuff about what's going on. So I really enjoyed this arc as well, because I feel like I introduced more to it, because before it was heroes and the Hero Association, then there's random villains, and then there's the villain organization or League of Villains, and you're like, oh, this is the two big titans colliding or whatever. But this story arc really emphasizes the fact that it's not like that, really. It's the heroes are a huge pillar of society, which is being chipped away by, Stain and All For One, and but there are other villain groups out there which may or may not be, actually, to be honest, are probably more powerful than the League of Villains. The League of Villains are just our main villain we see because they keep attacking the school. They're crazy enough to actually attack the heroes in their home field, home court kind of thing. But other than that, I mean, to be honest, I feel like maybe later on down, I do know some of the stuff that happens later on, but later on down the road, maybe League of Villains could steamroll everybody else. But at this point, it kind of feels like other villain groups could probably steamroll them if they really tried. So, but that's, I guess, it for non-spoilers. Again, I've already rewatched some of the episodes, so in terms of my general rating, I would definitely give it I'd give it a 4 out of 5. I could say I really enjoyed it, but I don't tend to watch entire story arcs over again, so that's why I guess I can't give it a 5 out of 5, because I haven't watched it. But as much as I like, in terms of quality, it's good enough to be watched immediately afterwards. I personally just really wouldn't, because I'm just not the type to. I'll go back and watch my favorite moments of the season, because that's what I like. There's like 3 episodes or so in the show I've gone back and rewatched several times since they come out, just because I enjoyed them so much. But I wouldn't really watch the whole story arc, so that's why I give it like a 4 out of 5. 4.5 out of 5 if I had half ratings, but I don't. It's 4 out of 5.